Felix and Winston here, and we got a debt ceiling deal, and it's pretty much the deal I announced to you guys on Friday. We also have the largest super yacht collection right behind us here in Monaco for the Grand Prix. It's kind of a nice day. We're actually walking in the opposite direction. You can maybe still hear the cars. We're going to go for a swim. But let me walk you through what's decided, what the deal is, what is going to affect the stock market, which sectors, and maybe just a general word on like where this is all going. So in general, they have decided to cut spending by about $50 billion, which is of course like not even a drop in the ocean. The US debt will increase another $4 trillion by 2025, which is when this deal expires. So this is a suspension of the debt ceiling. It's not like a real lifting. And it's probably going to be suspended until the 1st of January 2025. So just after the next elected president comes into office, or the same one, depending on which way you guys vote. And that obviously kicks the can down the road, which is the way they like to do it. Now, what spending did they cut? Well, a lot really. They're just freezing most discretionary spending for this year and then going up 1% the year after. Defense, of course, excluded from that. Why? Because the defense lobby is really, really powerful, and there is nothing like wasting billions and billions of dollars every year on wars that shouldn't be fought and then just cause unnecessary suffering and that kind of thing. But you know, that's the way that industry is. So defense stocks, yay. The rest of the stock sector, not a lot. I'm not exactly sure what happens to the infrastructure bill. In the last, what I heard on Friday was that was kind of excluded from any cuts, and that infrastructure is going to continue to be spent, which is probably the only sensible thing the US government spends money on, because US infrastructure is like something from the 80s and really needs to be handled. Like, go travel around in Asia and look at what airports look like and how everything functions smoothly, and then go and fly in LA, right? And you're just like, what the, you know? So I was really shocked by that a few years ago. So that's probably the only sensible thing. Now, what should they also be doing? Well, they are cutting back on the IRS hiring 80,000 agents to rummage around your bins, your waste basket, rubbish, whatever you call them, in your particular accent of the English language. That of course is nonsense, because the IRS should be sacking 80,000 people and should be employing AI to do all the work for them. They're a Palantir customer. Why the F they are hiring now 70,000 people to go through your audits makes absolutely no sense. That's not something a human being needs to do. Like, surely that is like a data-driven task. And like all industry, who are sacking lots of people right, left and center, they should be doing is exactly that. So that really makes no sense. But it's just a good example of incredible government waste, which is really what this is all about, right? Like, the government wastes trillions of dollars every single year on administration, so the people who run those departments feel more powerful and can say, I've got 100,000 people in my department. It's just baffling. And what we've been seeing over the last year is every week when we get the employment data out and we look at, well, who's been hiring, who's been firing, and who's been hiring? Well, the US government, which is obviously not the way you address inflation. You want to see some really amazing flowers behind me there? Look at that wall of bougainville growing there. Hey, that makes you very jealous if you ever try to grow that stuff. So that's kind of the bread and butter. Now, markets, they're going to love it. Why are they going to love it? Because the uncertainty is gone. And that's really the one thing that the markets hate the most. It's uncertainty around what's going to happen. But it isn't over till the fat lady sings. So the fat lady in this case is Congress and the Senate. Now, the way this is going to work is that, I explained this briefly 2 days ago, the bill has to be out for 72 hours before it can be voted on. So 72 hours before they can vote, and imagine 72 hours of every you know, market trader who happens to be in the House of Congress, no disrespect intended, well, actually disrespect was intended, I'm lying, who will now ask for their vote to be really important, and for that they're going to ask for $1 billion here, $1 billion there for a little pet project to make sure that they get re-elected, or to make sure that whoever donates to their re-election campaign gets, you know, an extra $1 billion or $2 billion in government spending. So there's going to be a bit more waste added to this. This is the way the US government process or democracy generally works. It's been like that for 2,000 years, so nothing nothing new there. And there's a chance that the sort of fiscally conservative Republicans will say, this is crazy, $4 trillion added to the bill, to the debt bill. We're never going to vote for this. And there's a chance that the more liberal wing of the Democrats are going to say, but what about, you know, some deserving group? We're not getting enough. And therefore both sides vote against it. And as you're probably aware, Republicans have a tiny majority, Democrats have a tiny majority in each of the two, you know, institutions, and therefore it's entirely possible that it doesn't go anywhere. Now, if it doesn't go anywhere, what happens? Well, the market freaks the hell out. 2011 we dropped 18%, so this is still, in theory, on the cards, just a lot less likely at this point. And secondly, there are two options for this. So they could try to just pass a kind of a naked bill, basically with nothing attached, where you're just approving spending. That's in theory possible, but again, you need a majority for that. I don't think you get a majority for that if you didn't get a majority for this limp biscuit of a bill. Second option is this 14th Amendment, which basically says the US government has an obligation to pay US sovereign debt, so, you know, for treasuries. So therefore defaulting is in theory in breach of the Constitution, and it would therefore in theory give the president the authority to pay those bills regardless. Is that a good idea? Definitely not, because that would immediately go to the Supreme Court, and it would just delay the whole thing by a couple more days and would cause markets to really freak out, right? So you really don't want to go down that route. Similar with the $1 trillion coin thing, like that'll be challenged in court. But look behind me here, how many boats are here? So the rich and fabulous basically don't pay any tax. That's why we're here in Monaco, right? And enjoy themselves, beautiful weather, beautiful Grand Prix, lovely parties and all that kind of thing. Went to a little do myself yesterday, which was lovely. So this doesn't really affect those who have. And I guess my point always is, look, the reason I make these videos is because I used to be a terrible investor, and then I was lucky. I became an investment banker for a little while, and it meant I started to actually learn how the market really works. And the benefit of that is that, you know, I now get to live, yeah, right? And I'd like to help you get to that same level of comfort. And for that, you need to understand how to manage your money and how to manage your wealth. So that's really what this is all about. And that's really why I want to encourage you to do something about it. And what can you do about it? Well, first thing is you can increase your income. And you can do that one way by using your money more properly. And secondly, of course, by the side hustles. If you want to learn how we do that with your money, then Winston and I, where is he? There he is. We're running a live trading webinar on Wednesday, 31st, 11 AM Eastern time. And we'll actually show you not just my entire 85% probability strategy, but also live trades, so you can really see what it's all about. And it's free, and a couple of spots still available. So go to felixfranz.org/webinar, claim those spots, get on that path towards really understanding how money works. And we are now heading towards, behind me here is the Monte Carlo Beach Club. I'm just gonna go past that one more beach. I'm gonna take little Winston for a swim. So enjoy. The drama isn't quite over yet, but it's good progress.